What kind of cook are you? Well, there's the cook that you are today, and then there's that cook that you want to be in the future. It's the next level cook that you want to be. So, how do you level up your cooking? Well, there are distinct and definable levels of home cooks, each with specific ways to climb to the next level. I'm going to share them with you and show you how you can level up your cooking on today's Carefree Cooks Code. I'm Chef Todd Moore, and this is the Carefree Cooks Code, every Tuesday live at noon Eastern. Here's our challenge. How can home cooks cook freely with creativity, confidence, and pride while ignoring recipes and still impressing themselves and others with what they cook? Well, the answer is found in becoming empowered with how cooking works, using dependable and repeatable methods of cooking that work for any ingredient, for any diet, and any desire, just like chefs do. And we'll know we've cracked it when everyone sees cooking as an exciting and rewarding way to improve their relationships, their lifestyles, and their health through better food and cooking. This is the Carefree Cooks Code. Hey, welcome back to the Carefree Cooks Code, everyone. This is the free, public, weekly show for the methods, the techniques, the insights into better food and cooking. We're live every Tuesday at noon Eastern, right here on my Chef Todd Moore page on Facebook. It's a free class, open to the public. Share it with as many people as you would like. And if you'd like a private email reminder of when I'm going live, sign up at webcookingclasses.com/live. If you want to see what I'm cooking and which way do I turn now? And how I've been cooking it, follow Chef Todd Moore on Instagram as well. This was unbelievable. My first rockfish of the season I got from Miss Mary's Seafood. This is rockfish piccata with smoked red pepper risotto and steamed asparagus. If you haven't seen it on my Chef Todd page, it's amazing. How do I do stuff like that? Well, I'm a carefree cook. I create my own recipes. I bring friends and family together. I learn every time I cook. I create my own cooking style because I practice pro methods and I wind up loving my cooking. And that's how it all happens. And that's why we're together again on another Tuesday for another episode of the Carefree Cooks Code, this time from the beautiful new office studios on the northern neck of Virginia. It's a little echoey in here. I'll try and work on that in the future. But I am continuing to fulfill a promise that I made to myself, a promise I made to you 4 years ago this month. 4 years ago, I promised I would spend every Tuesday for the foreseeable future. Little did I know what was going to happen in the future, but I said I would share everything that I know about food and cooking with you for free to the public every Tuesday. And today is episode number 200 of the Carefree Cooks Code. 200 Tuesdays since 2018. And it's every Tuesday at noon that I feel like I have the best opportunity to change your thinking about cooking. Not just your cooking. Again, people get on for the first time. Why don't you just shut up and cook something? This isn't about cooking today. This is about changing your thinking about cooking. And actually, if I can change how you think about cooking, then I can change your cooking. And that's why if you're here on Tuesdays, you're especially smart. Because it's the concepts behind cooking that really help your cooking, not a new set of pots and pans. And that's what we're going to talk about today, leveling up your cooking. But first, I've got a true or false for you. I got to turn, have you noticed? I had to turn a different way. I got to learn how to choreograph that. Okay, let's go over this again. True or false, cooking in aluminum increases your chances of getting Alzheimer's disease. Please tell me in the comments section below, true or false. Okay, not only has my office studio now changed, but a lot has changed for me, for you, for all of us over the past 2 years, right? We're getting 2-year anniversary now. All of society has changed. The way we interact, the items we buy, our routines, our habits. They're all different than 24 months ago. And if you don't think you've changed in the past 24 months, let me ask you one quick question. How many hours have you spent on Netflix or Hulu or Zoom compared to 2019? Little different, maybe? Had you ever even heard of Hulu? Or Netflix, maybe? Or you used to get the discs in the mail? How much of your shopping has changed to online? How often is the UPS truck in your driveway? How has your social interaction changed? Do you go to an online church now? Are you a lot more comfortable seeing friends and family through Zoom? Heck, I've been to 80 Stephen Page Saturday night basement concerts since April of 2020. 80 of them. I've seen Stephen Page live 80 times, and I don't think I'll ever go to a concert again. Why would I go to a concert hall? And now it all seems like everybody can work from home. Why didn't we do that before? Have you noticed how entertainment has changed? Movies are streamed online instead of being released to the theaters. Online movies are winning Oscars. Have you even been to a retail store in the past 2 years? Have you seen what the shelves look like? Empty shelves, either because they can't get the stuff or they just carry less stuff in the store. Here's a trend in retailing you might not notice. You go to the store, you ask for it, they say no, but we can order it for you. Why did I come to the store? That's something I can do myself. I didn't need to go to the store to have the clerk order it online for me and ship it to my house. Stores are having trouble getting inventory, and they don't want to invest in the inventory anyway. Churches have changed. Concerts have changed. Family dynamics have changed. And over the past 2 years, everything needed to change or disappear in a new reality. And so many of us have made these changes. We've adapted where we needed to, and we've dismissed the old way that simply doesn't exist anymore. It's called leveling up. You level up when you try to climb to the next level of whatever you do. You adapt. You get better at it. You learn. So this 2-year anniversary of the world going on lockdown gave people a choice. Resist or level up. So I'll pose the same question to you. How has your cooking changed over the past 2 years, and where do you want it to go in the next 2? Because your cooking is already changing, along with so much of your life that changed, correct? To start with, you are cooking, right? I know you're cooking more. If you're watching me, you're definitely cooking more than you were 2 years ago. Maybe you're cooking almost every night of the week, or maybe like me, you cook every single night of the week for years, right? That's a change in itself. Not just because you are a beautiful stock photo model in this picture here, who happens to be married to another beautiful stock photo model, and you happen to get matching aprons, and you never seem to stop smiling because you're just so stock photo perfect, right? That's not the reason. You're not a stock photo model. It's because now you've become a lot more comfortable with cooking your own food at home, and it changes everything, but it presents a challenge, and it presents an opportunity to all of us. I think that you should take some time and to see where you are in your own personal culinary journey. Put a pin, put a pin electronically, physically. Where are you in your cooking? What are your strong points? Stop. Quick. What's your strongest point in cooking? Right? Quick. What are the skills that you really enjoy doing? What do you love doing in the kitchen? Quick. What do you hate doing in the kitchen? Quick, what can you do blindfolded? Easy, right? What is something that constantly frustrates you? That's a roadblock. It seems to me that if you've got a little extra time on your hands, which room of the house you spend it in can mean a big difference in how you continue to level up your cooking. So you can spend your time in the living room with Netflix, like I mentioned, but there's going to be a different outcome to your cooking if you spend it in the kitchen, taking your skills up a level. So let's identify your strengths, congratulate yourself for being so good at these things, but at the same time, be aware of your weaknesses. Resolve to turn your weaknesses into strengths in the future. This is what I mean by level up. It simply means that you solve an issue that's been holding you back. You're getting around a roadblock. You're progressing further than you had before, and it doesn't matter how or why you do it, no matter what you convince yourself of. When I was a kid, I was a hockey player. I was a pretty good hockey player. I was captain of the team, wore the little C. But you know what? It wasn't because I felt like I was good at hockey. You're too insecure at that age. I believed I was a good hockey player all because of Campbell's cream of shrimp soup. It was this condensed soup that I ate before every game, and I thought it was the perfect nutrition that gave me the energy to play. So you take the can of soup, you add a can of milk, and it's like Popeye eating my spinach, right? I felt like I had to eat this soup, and if I played badly, there must have been something wrong with the soup that day. All right, transference, I think a psychologist would call it. But eventually, I became bored with the soup. I mean, the soup was convenient, but it was boring. And maybe I wasn't playing real well. And maybe I thought if I leveled up the soup, I would level up my playing. So I was starting to get curious about how I could make it better. First thing that you grab when you're about 15 years old is a slice of American cheese. So I melted a slice of Kraft American cheese into the soup. It made it a little cheesier. I know that sounds like something that a teenager who knows nothing about cooking would do, but I liked it. From convenience to curiosity is leveling up. All I wanted to do was open a can of soup, put some milk in it, and eat the soup. Convenient. Now I'm curious how I can do it better. Convenience to curiosity is leveling up. So I decided the soup needed some fresh shrimp, not those unidentifiable things that were in the can. I'm leveling up the soup. Then I added a dash of heavy cream, and I topped it with some Old Bay. I played with the seasonings. I put some dill in there. I started garnishing with cooking sherry as a 15-year-old kid. Eventually, I was so many levels away from that original can of soup that I was creating something totally new. And so many years later, when I went to culinary school and I learned how to make a true shrimp stock, when I learned how to make a true bisque with the shells, when I could make a nice deep dark roux, when I could infuse compound flavors in the milk, now I'm looking so far down that staircase behind me, so many more levels that I have added to my skills since being a 15-year-old hockey player that placed a mystical belief in a can of soup. That's leveling up. From adding American cheese to condensed soup, to being a culinary college professor, a certified culinary educator, and the proud leader of our community of carefree cooks. That's a lot of levels over a 43-year period. From melting cheese in canned soup to all of that. So look, the first thing we gotta do is identify which level of cook you are. What type of cook are you right now? Let's go through them. See if you identify yourself in all this. Because the first type of cook is the convenience cook. This is the cook that cooks most often with frozen foods, convenience items, packaged ingredients where they really just need to heat things up, right? And their primary focus is getting the meal finished. Their primary focus is getting to the eating part as quickly as possible. It's about eating. Their favorite kitchen tool is usually the microwave. And the convenience cook might have a few meals that they can throw together, usually, old family recipes that they've been eating forever, but that's okay because it's safe, it's comfortable, it's convenient. Remember that word again. So this cook spends a lot more money on food than any of the other kinds of cook, but yet enjoys it less than any other kind of cook. What this type of cook should do to level up, to step up to the next level, is focus on the hows and whys of cooking. Maybe just study the 4 effects of heat on food. Once you know that there are 4 effects of heat on food, you start to understand what happens to food when you cook it. And then you become proficient, maybe at just one cooking method. Pick one. I normally recommend the 9 steps in the basic sauté method to start, but you could pick grilling or braising or steaming. It doesn't really matter. But when the convenience cook starts to cook in the same way over and over again, then you use the ingredients that you like. And that's the way to start progressing to the next level. You get the idea? And the convenience cook will step up because this is just not sustainable. You go into the grocery store every day, every third day, or buying 15 convenience foods, especially in our environment today. Eventually, this type of cook is going to get bored with the same meals. They're going to realize the health effects of a lot of these processed foods, or maybe they're just going to get tired of spending too much money on food, and they're going to start to wonder what they are trading for this convenience. And then they're going to start to get curious, like me with the cream of shrimp soup. Convenient to curious. That's the second type of cook, the curious cook. This person has a genuine interest in cooking, but they're starting to see their skill gaps. And what normally happens to the curious cook is that they make a mistake somewhere, right? They're following a recipe and it's a mistake. The recipe doesn't come out right. Or a dish that they've made a few times comes out crazy, right? Different than before. But you know what? This is great. They taste it. They eat it anyway. It's not what grandma would have wanted, but it's really good, right? It's really tasty and you love your mistake. Has that ever happened to you? I made a mistake bread many years ago where I overproofed it, killed the yeast. It got flat and dense. I baked it off anyway. It was fantastic. I started overproofing all my breads and killing the yeast. Often it's the mistake that's the fuel for the motivation to get to the next level. And when you start wondering what you did differently this time that gave you such a different result, that's when you start to look into the hows and whys of cooking. That's when you're curious. And I love curious cooks. They're my peeps. Curious cooks are my peeps, I'm telling you. These are the people fighting for freedom in their cooking. And they start to cook with a wider variety of fresher foods. They move away from the frozen section because their primary focus is to be able to depend on their cooking to get more consistent results. They start to perfect, even expand on those few family meals that they were making before. They're not trying to recreate them, they're putting new twists on them. And that's why the curious cook is starting to get a little antsy. But they spend less money on food. They spend a lot more time in the kitchen. And actually, this middle kind of cook spends the most time of any cook in the kitchen because they're trying to figure it out. Their frustration with recipes starts to develop. It starts to come out. The frustration with the limitations, the constraints, and being told what to cook and how to cook it, that ends with this type of cook. They're tired of that. They've traded their convenience for recipe servitude, and they want their freedom at this point. And the curious cook is going to want to step up to the next level to become even more excited about their cooking, to remove some of that hit and miss factor, and develop the tremendous sense of pride that can come from cooking for yourself and others. And I normally recommend for this person to level up, to start looking into combination cooking methods, braising and stewing, or searing and poaching. They're great combinations to learn because you discover more effects of heat on food. You discover how to make something really nice and brown in a dry, direct environment, and then make it really flavorful and moist in a wet environment. So the curious cook's creativity is emerging. That's when they can jump to the next level. When they have so many questions, but they're armed with dependable and repeatable methods, and that's when you become the creative cook. And this cook is more confident than any other in how to cook. They feel centered that they can saute, they can braise, they can roast, they can grill. They figured out that cooking is not about recipes, but it is about methods. And they have a nice little toolbox of cooking methods that they can depend upon. The creative cook, starting to see the entire process of cooking as fun and enjoyable instead of a chore. They see it as a way to improve their relationships, their health, their well-being, their hobbies. They have more fun. They are taking those few basic dishes that were a convenience cook, right? If you've come along this line, there's a dish when you were a convenience cook and you really start updating them with the ingredients and your new creativity. And another thing so amazing happens for the creative cook. Generosity emerges. People who love to cook, people who are proud of their cooking at this stage, they always want to share it. These are the people cooking for neighbors. These are the people helping others in a difficult time. And the main question on the creative cook's mind is, how can I make this better? How can I add this, a twist here? What did I just learn that I can contribute? So you start venturing out on your own. You develop your own cooking style. You have confidence in your cooking, so you create instead of just cook and follow instructions. And you wind up finding cooking fun and rewarding. When you're at this level, you have pride in creating your own cooking mark, in maybe blending world styles, blending different foods and ingredients into something that is uniquely your own. And this cook spends the least amount of money on food because they prefer their cooking. They grocery shop wisely because they're confident that they can cook anything that they bring home, and they bring home only what they are going to cook. So my suggestion to an already creative cook who wants to step up to the next level is to go deep on soup, stocks, sauces, and seasonings. All right, go for 4 S's, soup, stock, sauces, and seasonings. Because if you can perform 9 or 10 basic cooking methods confidently, you're at this point, like I said, you can knock them out. Saute, grilling, roasting, braising, stewing, steaming, poaching, on and on. Then the best way to level up your cooking is with sauces, herbs, and spices. You're all good at the rest of the stuff. You're using great ingredients. You can buy exotic ingredients, cook actually less of it because you know portioning in a better regard, and you're going to still want to know how to make it better. Because the next level is all about being adventurous. The next level for the creative cook is about being fearless in cooking. Don't worry if it's going to turn out right or not. It always turns out right. You're not shooting at the 8-ball in pool. You don't have to call the shot. I've made meals where it's like, oh, this is really tangy. And I go, it is? Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I was going for, But look, that's something we'll talk about another time, because there's a level 5 cook, and it's a magical spot to be. We've got a few of them in our Carefree Cooks community. We've got even more in our Insiders Club. And you can tell who they are by their food photos. It's obvious when people post photos of their food, how it's cooked, the way the heat's controlled, the color of the items, the arrangement on the plate. It's obvious who is leveling up all the time. And look, again, here's the disclaimer. None of those are bad cook versus good cook. I make no judgments here. If you're a convenience cook and you love it, that's great. It works for your lifestyle. Remember, if it's good to you, then it's good. I make no judgments. But you've got an opportunity here to level up. Have you always wanted to learn how to bake bread? Level up. Have you wanted to start making your own pizzas instead of calling for takeout? Learn how to make pizza dough. Level it up. Will you use your knife skills to break down whole chickens, save money, and get free chicken? Level it up. Have you totally dismissed poaching as a cooking method? Probably. Is this the time that you're going to make the perfect poached egg? and then make hollandaise sauce? Do you ever wonder about combinations of herbs and spices and how to learn about that? Level up. You've always wanted to make your own pasta and ravioli. Maybe now is the time to figure it out and level it up. And now that you've leveled up to the perfect poached egg, it's time for hollandaise sauce and eggs Benedict. That's 2 levels up. Look, is there a real desire in your gut to make amazing things for your kids? Stop with the box of mac and cheese. Level it up. Compound butters and fats. Level it up. Baking pies and cookies. Level it up. Making your own frosting instead of buying it from the cans. Learn how to make a buttercream. Level it up. It is endless what you can accomplish if you use your time to reach for the next level in cooking. And look, you're not trying to learn everything about cooking in 1 month. That's not what I'm telling you to do. It's a lifelong goal. But you might want to conquer just one thing. Just one thing you've always wondered about. The one thing you wanted to do. And then you take it along with you on your journey to the next level of cook that you want to be. You can do this. No matter what level you feel you need to take your cooking to, well, we've got a very kind and generous community of about 20,000 people who didn't know what you don't know until they started asking the questions and looking upward at the next level. They got curious, then they got creative, and then ultimately they got carefree. And that's why we're the Carefree Cooks, because we're reaching for the next level every time we cook. Let's get back to today's true or false. Please go to alzheimers.org, alz.org. This is a myth that was started in the 1970s. It has never been verified. On the Alzheimer's organization's webpage, they have a section that says myths, and this is on there. So no, cooking in aluminum pans. Every time I do a cooking demo, every time I post a video, somebody has got to tell me about it. It is false. The Alzheimer's Association tells you it's a myth. Look, if you want to help somebody to recognize an obvious opportunity in front of them to become the next level cook they always wanted to be, start by liking this video, loving it, sharing it with your friends. And you know, one of the ways that you can level up your cooking is to take it outdoors and examine the 3 outdoor cooking methods that you need to be successful. That's why I'm relaunching one of my most popular spring and summer classes straight from my backyard. It's how to fix the top 3 grilling mistakes for more obedient outdoor cooking. You know, most backyard home chefs, they're making at least one of these mistakes, if not 2 or all 3, and their outdoor cooking is controlling them. Go to webcookingclasses.com/obedient to pick a class time that's right for you and make your outdoor cooking more obedient. So until next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time, this is Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your next level cooking success.